Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anya Satu and thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, I do a lot of hair related content. Please also make sure to follow me on Instagram under Anya Satu, and on my Instagram I upload a whole different kind of content. So if you're into Christian related content, or even if you're a foodie, then make sure to check out my Instagram page. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, all that good stuff, okay? We've got a goal. And I can't believe that there's 2,200 of you that are following me, that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So even if you're not into Microlocs, if you're still a loose natural, I still have a lot of content related to that, so please make sure to check that out. Okay, so today I am going to be doing my 2-month update. On the 9th of July I installed my Microlocs, and I've got about how many Microlocs do I have? I think I've got 270 Microlocs, and I did them myself, so it was a DIY and it took me about 10 hours, and I basically did it like in a day. With the aim of today's video, I just want to shed light on my experiences and just share some things with you, if you're on your Microlocs journey or if you're considering starting your own Microlocs. So I just hope that this video will help you decide in that, or not even decide, but just make you more aware of what you'll come across when you officially decide to start your Microlocs. Okay, so the first thing, that I would say is that I would advise that when you get your Microlocs done, and I've said this in my previous video, I said that if you want to get your Microlocs done, I think that you should rather go to a professional to get them done. Unless you are like an extreme expert and you've done your own braids before, I don't think you'd have a challenge in doing the Microlocs. But if you've never done braids on yourself before, I don't think you should be doing it yourself, because the whole opening the lines, you want to make sure that your lines are straight, you want to make sure that your locks are equal sizes and all of that stuff. So if you don't have that experience, rather just pay that money, okay, to get them done. Because I know it's expensive as well. Getting your own Microlocs, getting Microlocs installed is ranges from 2.5, sometimes even 4K. So it really is a lot of money, and that's what I did. I said, I'm not going to pay that money, okay? I've done my own braids before. I'm sure that this will be fine. I'm sure I'll manage in installing the twist, and I won't have an issue with it. And a part of me feels like I'm happy that I did that, because I don't ever see myself paying 2.5 for any kind of hair, right? Anything that's related to, okay, maybe a wig, but that's investment kind of thing. I don't know, whatever. Maybe a wig, but 2.5 for hair, especially if it's something that I can do myself, I didn't see it worth paying that kind of money. But having said that, I still feel that a small part of me feels that I should have gone to a professional, because even though I got my lines straight, I think a lot of my, I'm just going to put a clip here, or even just the video if you check it out from my installation, I think that the lines were quite straight. Everything was just prim and proper. I only realized it at the end when I was finished with the Microlocs, in terms of how many locks I have on my head, to make sure it's balanced, right? So for example, I even wrote it down the day I got it installed, right? So the back part, right? So I did a section at the back that has 32. I'd say it's got 37 locks, because after that I had to sort of split them because they were a bit too big. So I've got 37 locks at the back. On my left side I have 40 locks. In the middle section I've got 36, and on the right I've got 32. Okay, and then on my left front I have 68, and then on my right I've got 57. Okay, so then now if you look at all the numbers, right, there's 37, there's 40, 36, 32. Then the two front ones are 68 and 57. So ideally I would have liked them both to be equal, at least 60-60 or 40-40, and then maybe this one's 35 and whatever. But then imagine if you don't have that kind of I still think that this is okay. I think it's still fine, it's whatever, it's okay. But imagine if you don't have that experience and you're doing it for the first time, how that would have turned out. Because ideally you don't want to have 20 and then you've got 50 locks here, you know. So anyway, that's the gist of it. I do feel like my locks have some locks on my head are a little bit bigger than the others, but that's because of, I feel like I've got low to medium hair density. So in the middle of my head, you'd find that the locks are way smaller compared to the front, because in the front I just have a lot less hair. So I feel like, honestly, like it's fine. Okay, then the second point is that I've had to deal with a lot of unraveling, and that's also because of the type of hair that I have. So I've got type 4B hair. On some areas of my hair, I've got like 4A hair, which is like at the back, in the front as well, which is really weird. But then doing twists was maybe not the most ideal situation, or the ideal method of installing the twists, which would eventually become microlocs, right? I think for my kind of hair, I should have done the crocheting style, which is like, I don't know, it's just crushing. They're just crushing your hair into itself, which is, I think, a bit more solid than doing twists if you've got type 4A or 4B hair. If you've got type 4C hair, I think that will work for you. But with my hair, I just kept on dealing with a lot of unraveling. By my roots, it kept on unraveling, and I just found myself always trying to retwist my hair again, which was actually quite annoying. So that's also one thing that you need to know. Like, if you want to get microlocs, know what your hair type is, and I think that will also be a good guide in knowing what method to use when you're installing the microlocs. I also could have opted for doing the 3-strand twist, but I just feel like the outcome, or how would it look in the long run, is that a 3-strand twist, even when you just do braids, like a 3-strand twist looks flat, right? It's not like cylindrical, it's not round, it's like flat, because I mean it's a 3-strand twist, whereas if it's a 2-strand twist, it forms ropes, which makes the lock look more cylindrical. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you just look at, if you look at people that have microlocs that have 3-strand, that did the 3-strand twist, you can see that their hair looks flat, like the strands look flat, compared to someone who's got like a 2-strand twist, or who did the crocheting kind of technique. I think also another option was that maybe I should have started the twist off with a 3-strand twist and then changed it into you know, when you like start a 3-strand twist and then you just change it into a twist. But also it's like, how would that look like when your hair actually grows out? You know, you're gonna have like the cylindrical part, which is a twist, and then you'll just find that you've got this flat part. So it's a little bit, it would look a little bit inconsistent. So I think knowing the type of your hair will help determine what method you can use. But also with the crushing style, I think that was the one where it was like 3.8, and I'm like, sis, no, like absolutely no. I cannot pay 3.8 to get microlocs installed via crushing style. That's way too much money. Like, I can't. Okay, and whilst we're also talking about money, right? Microlocs are also expensive. It's an expensive hairstyle, or some people say microlocs is not a hairstyle, it's a lifestyle. Okay, it's an expensive lifestyle. The microloc retwisting that you have to do is every 4 to 6 weeks. And if you're like, which is essentially, like, you have to budget it for every month, right? It's not like it's every 8 weeks where you can just skip 2 months or whatever. It's like essentially every month, right? You have to budget for your next retwist. And so I did my first retwist in Nubian crown in Joburg, and that was 650, which was a little bit pricey, but it was fine. And now I'm actually I found a place in Cape Town, and it's 750. So if you're calculating 750 every month, whereas before when you were loose natural, you weren't spending that kind of money every month, right? If you had your braids done, you'd pay 750 and your braids would last like 2, you can even push it to 3 months, right? But now it's like 750 every month. And the thing is, it also depends on what kind of retwisting or retying that you're doing. So if you're doing the retwisting, which is just like maybe like the palm rolling technique where they just twist your strand, you might find that your next appointment might be sooner than someone who has done a retie. A retie is a form of technique where they take your strand and it's also a crocheting style, right? So they use a needle, and I've got that video up on my channel, so you can check that out when I did my first installation. It's when they take the end of your hair, tuck it in by your root, and then pull it out, and in doing that it tightens the growth, or the part where your hair has grown. So if the person has done a retie with what I've just explained, then I've heard that reties can take longer because the technique is way tighter and way firmer than a retwisting, and so therefore maybe a retie you could maybe even push it to up to 8 weeks, whereas with a retwisting you're not necessarily even gonna last that 8 weeks. Okay, so my next point is that because of the unraveling that I faced, I had to have a lot of styles that were low manipulation, right? So guys, this is literally my style day in and day out. I just wet my hair a bit and I just put it into a ponytail because of the unraveling, the constant unraveling that I always face, especially when I first did my hair and before I did my first retie. Like that period, my hair was like unraveling at the back, and I did mention that the back, my hair texture is a bit softer, even in the front and some like random places. So I also had to do a lot of low manipulation hairstyles. You know, you can't be, I see some people do like bantu knots when they first start their microlocks, but then I'm like, I feel like it's counterproductive if you don't do it the correct way, right? Because if you're doing bantu knots, you're twisting your hair in a certain motion, right? So like, for example, let me see it like this. For example, if this side of your head has been twisted like clockwise, right? I'm not gonna make this too like extreme with my example, but if you're twisting it clockwise, right? And then you do bantu knots and you're going anti-clockwise, you're twisting your hair and it's unraveling in that process, and you may not realize it. And I don't know. So for me, I don't know. It just makes sense in my head not to do bantu knots when you are still in your twist phase. And I'm talking about if you've done the 2-strand twist, not necessarily you've done the crocheting. I'm just talking about the 2-strand twist. So anyway, I've had to do low manipulation styles just to make sure that I don't end up unraveling my hair during the styling process. Okay, then on to my going to talk about, I think this is also quite a big I think this is also quite a big section talking about like my wash day routine, and just how I navigate that, and just, I don't know, stuff that I've been facing as a result of not having a wash day routine, but also trying to change my wash day routine because now my hairstyle has changed. So before I had my microlocks, right, I was a loose natural and I used to wash my hair every week. I used to deep condition every week, all that jazz, detangling, blah blah blah. And and now I was told that when you have microlocks, you can't wash your hair as often, particularly when you are starting out your journey. Like, I know that some people only started washing their hair like after 6 months, which I physically cannot do. But some people only started washing their hair like post 6 months, and so that you don't disturb like the tangling process of your hair, right? Because that's essentially what microlocks is. It's like the tangling of your hair. So it was that, and then it was also like you can't deep condition because of like the deep conditioner has that slippery effect, so it's counterproductive in like the formation of your locks. Also not using like moisturizers and blah blah blah. That's like a whole thing. And honestly, when I was a loose natural, like using a deep conditioner really changed my hair. Like that was a major change in my like journey when I was a loose natural. And so I just wondered how my hair was going to be like, you know, when you have microlocks, you're not deep conditioning. You know, I didn't want to end up having like microlocks that are like hard, or my hair is like hard. Child, this car. I don't have microlocks that are like a bit like where my I feel like my texture is like, my hair texture is like a bit hard or a bit crunchy, whatever, I don't know. So it was a bit difficult and knowing like how I'm going to navigate that. But when I did my first retie at Nubian Crown, after washing my hair, they actually put deep conditioner and my hair was fine, you know. So I think when it comes to the wash day routine, it's always ideal to use the braid and band method, where you take small sections of your hair and you braid them and then you band them at the end. And you don't need to braid it too tight because you're gonna wash your hair and you need the water, you need the shampoo to penetrate all the areas, okay? So you need to just tie a nice loose braid and then band it, and then you can just wash your hair. So that's what I usually do. So I braid my hair and then I band it, and then I also just try to open up the braid so that the things can happen. And so that's how I wash my hair. So that's my wash day routine. And then when it comes to deep conditioning, that's something that I also do. So I just deep condition my hair even with the bands and the braid on, and then I leave it on for a bit, and then I just rinse it off, and then that's how it is. So that's my routine. And honestly, it just changed so much compared to when I was a loose natural. I used to just spend hours and hours and sometimes even days washing my hair. It was so ridiculous. And now I just like wake up, if I can decide to wash my hair before work, I literally can. Like, it's not going to inconvenience me. I don't have to think twice. I can just get into the shower, quickly band and braid, wash, and I'm good to go. So yeah, that's the first part. So like the wash day routine of it. And then there's also like so my wash day routine is every second week. Ideally I would like to wash my hair every week, but because my locks are still youngins, I don't want to be washing my hair and disrupting like the whole locking process. And yeah, I think 2 weeks is sufficient because I live a very active lifestyle. I gym almost every day, and you know, I just can't not wash my hair, you know. So yeah. And then obviously, so after the wash day, there's like stuff in between, right? So it's like my day-to-day routine, what I do. So sometimes I feel like my hair texture, because it's in twists, it's a little bit it's not as soft as it was obviously when I had natural hair. So when I wake up, sometimes my hair looks like quite matted and like stiff and like, you know, when I that's how my hair is sometimes. But I just spray a little bit of water and my hair is fine. So that is my day-to-day routine, where I just spray water. Sometimes I just use a very light oil, and I just like work it into just a nice consistency with the oil, and I spray my hair with water first, and then rub the oil and just massage it and everything, which is what I actually just did now. So my hair looks a little bit, yeah, looks a little bit wet. But yeah, that's what I do. Yo guys, the first month of having the Microlocs, like my scalp was itching like crazy. Like I felt like I was going mad. You know, when you just scratching your head, like you feel like you're losing it, and it's so distracting, and it's just so annoying, and it's like you're damaging your scalp at the same time, and it's just a nuisance, and in front of people, it's just crazy. But I think that what I started doing was that I always need to make sure that my scalp is moisturized. Guys, your scalp is so important, and I mentioned this also in my other videos when I was a loose natural, that your scalp is where the magic is happening, okay? You can't neglect it. You can't neglect your scalp, okay? Your scalp needs all that juice, all those juices. It needs hydration. Your scalp also needs to be taken care of, not only just your hair strands. Well, anyway, in my case, right? If I don't do anything to my scalp, my scalp starts flaking, it gets itchy, etc, etc. And sometimes it's not that your hair is necessarily dirty, it's not that, but it's just that, like a perfect example was last week, right? I'd washed my hair, but then a few days later my scalp was like really itchy, right? And so I just decided to use Damatol or Sulfur 8 or MPL hair food. Any of those three are really good. I just wet my hair a bit, and then focusing on the scalp, I was just massaging it with that product, and my scalp just feels really good. So that's how I manage like itchiness with the scalp, because I know that, like, I've heard some people don't like they just have to deal with it. Like if your scalp's itchy, just deal with it. And I absolutely cannot. Like I cannot. So that's also another solution to dealing with an itching scalp when you have microlocs. Okay, and then honestly, on my last point, right, I think I just also want to mention that sometimes it's so frustrating because there's a lack of resources. A lot of the information that I've got relating to microlocs have been people that are India abroad, people that are overseas, people that are like that side. And when you're trying to find people that do microlocs, there are not many, right? And at the same time, like you also have to find someone that's certified, right? Because I've often found guys like, I feel like I'm extremely particular and I'm not willing to just go to someone that does dreadlocks, normal dreadlocks. And maybe it's just I'm speaking out of ignorance. I don't think I've never gone to a person that does dreadlocks and have asked them to do microlocs, right? But oftentimes, actually I've gone to one. So there's one salon in Cape Town that they do like dreadlocks and all that stuff. They even do microlocs retwisting. But even within their microlocs section, you can tell that their services are because they've got a hairstylist that does dreadlocks. It's not particularly someone that does microlocs, which I think is a different ball game, right? Because I don't think you'd find someone that has dreadlocks that when they do their retying, they're doing the crushing style, you know? Or like even with the installation, right? There is installation for dreadlocks are different compared to microlocs. With dreadlocks, they do the palm rolling technique. That's if you're starting your dreadlocks from scratch, like using your own hair, not using any artificial, any like hairpiece or whatever. So I'm talking about someone who has gone for classes in terms of microlocs. They understand the different techniques. They advise on your day-to-day lifestyle with microlocs. They advise on just managing that lifestyle of microlocs and all of that stuff. It's very difficult to find people in Cape Town or in Joburg that are that cater to that need. And I stay in Cape Town, and it was only by chance that I was in Joburg that I went to Nubian Crown, that, you know, they have people that they're actually certified locticians, you know. So and it's tricky, like it's very tricky. And I think also if you don't find them, then you find them randomly on Instagram. They're not really promoted well. They don't have like proper online stores, or I don't know, there's some kind of like professional marketing or awareness or putting themselves out there kind of thing. Like you'd find them somewhere like through whoever, by the corner kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that if you're trying to find someone, it's not easy to find. It's not easy to find. So I think there's a little bit of frustration there. But like I said, guys, we are all here to learn. Even you that's watching my videos, I'm also like learning. So if you can also put in the comment section stuff and tips and tricks and locticians in Cape Town, that would be great. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my video. And honestly, guys, I don't actually, like, there've been a few occasions, I think especially in the first month, where I felt like I missed my natural hair. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to comb my hair, I just want to feel it, I just want to, you know, like, blow it out and just whatever. And I think in the last month, I haven't even thought about my loose hair. Honestly, I haven't. But I think it's quite an interesting journey. I'm going to show you some pics with how my hair looks like before and after. I think I must just actually take my thing off so you can see how my hair looks now. Like I said, it's actually quite wet now because I was just trying to... Girl, come on now. Like, guys, oh my gosh, like my hair has swelled up so much that when I'm looking at it now versus when I did the installation, this is the installation and this is me now. Like, this is insane. Like, my hair is hairing. The locks are locking. The locks are swelling and I'm so happy. So this is how my hair looks like right now. Shrinkage, on the other hand, is super real. But I'm actually really enjoying it. So this is how my hair looks. And I'm loving it. So yeah, this is how my hair looks. I think I'm actually gonna use the picture for this for my thumbnail. So yeah, this is how my hair looks, guys. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you see any difference, okay? And yeah, guys, so that brings me to the end of the video. I'm super excited to see how my hair is going to be looking like by December. My hair has actually started locking. I'm going to choose a nice chunky size. My hair has started locking, and I think that's due to the retie that I recently had. There you can see it's locking quite nicely. I think even like here it's locking quite nicely. Just even here you can see how much like my hair's already starting to grow. But yeah, I think I've struggled though with like my front hair here. Like this one just keeps unraveling even after the retie. It's so crazy. But yeah, it's starting to lock, and I'm super happy about that. So you can see here also starting to lock. But yeah, so this brings me to the end of the video. I think I've said this 1,000 times, but thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I will definitely be back in my next video talking about more hair related content. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. It is Anya Satu, your undefeated female warrior, signing out. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.